I'm going to show some ways to use a calculator to simplify fractions and convert between fractions, mixed numbers, and decimals. This demo is with the TI-30X2S. On the TI-30X2S, the buttons that we are going to need to use are this button. This lets us enter a fraction or mixed number. Mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. Up here, we're going to use a second function button to change from a mixed number to a fraction or back again. And up here, we're going to use a second function button to change from a fraction to a decimal and back again. So, one of the things that is a little less friendly about this version of the TI-30 is the way that it shows the fractions when you are putting them in. So I'm going to put in the fraction 42 over 70. 42. And now I'm going to use that fraction button, this one here. That's better. This one here. And it's going to give me this little tiny whatever that is, like a comma. And then I'm going to put in 70. The calculator reads that as 42 in the numerator and 70 in the denominator. And it will give you out a simplified version of it, 3/5. So this is a fraction written in kind of a horizontal form where that's my fraction bar. So that's equal to 3/5. So that's pretty convenient. I can put in a fraction and my calculator instantly converts it to the simplified version. If I decide I don't want the fraction version and I want a decimal, I'm going to use this option up here, F to D, and so I'm going to press second, and then I'm going to push this button to get the F to D option, and I press enter, and that gives me this as a decimal. Next, let's use it to put in a mixed number, 2 and 16/24. These are the examples I'm going to use here. So 2 and 16/24 is my next example. I'm using this button again in order to enter that. So if I enter 2 and then fraction button, 16, fraction button, 24, then what you see is you see 2 and this comma, 16, comma, 25. And that tells the calculator 2 and 16 in the numerator and 24 in the denominator. And so if I just enter that, it converts it, and this is the way it writes a mixed number, 2 and 16/25. Okay, I wanted 16/24. Apparently, I need to type correctly. All right, trying again. 2, mixed number button, 16, mixed number button, 24. Now I'm pressing enter, so it says, think about that, this says 2 and 2/3. 16/24 is equal to 2/3. This calculator has as its default answer, way it gives answers, is as a mixed number. But if I want the fraction version instead of the mixed number version, I can switch it using this button here. So I second function, and then this button, and that's going to switch mixed number to fraction. And yeah, there we go. That's the same as 8/3. Nice. And again, I can turn that into a decimal. Second function, decimal, fraction to decimal button. 2.66 repeating. And the calculator will even take that 2.666 repeating, and it will turn it back into a decimal. Or sorry, back into a fraction. So it goes from this to that mixed number version. Let's look at this last example. 498 divided by 164. 498 fraction button. 164. There we go. That gives me a simplified mixed number. 3 and 3/82. Now, another thing it will do is I could have entered it the other way. I could have done just 498 divided by 164. And I could have gotten that decimal out of the calculator. And so long as I don't mess it up too much, I can take this and I can use the second function, fraction to decimal button, and it will change it back into that fraction for me. So even if you put it in as a division instead of as a fraction, you can get, using that fraction to decimal button, you can get it back into simplified fraction form. Remember again that if you want a fraction like this and not a mixed number like that, the button to use is this one that's right above the fraction entry button. So you want to take that answer, second, convert it, and it will give you it instead as a improper fraction instead of a mixed number.